Oh, yeah.
Giovanna. Giovanna Meneghetti.
Yeah. You see, my mother had a daughter. She died when she was 7 years old. Her and my grandmother, remember they had that big flu after.
Yeah.
And both of them died at the same time. She was. So then after she died, my mother already had Teresa, but she wanted another. They call me Jean.
And so you and my mother are first cousins.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Blood cousin. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you this when we start talking.
Oh yeah.
We're just going to have a conversation.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Okay. First cousin. Yeah. We consider second cousin.
Giovanna.
Giovanna, yeah.
It's a pretty name.
Yeah, well, Giovanna, Jeanette, and Jean is all one, you know.
They're all the same thing.
So when we came here, I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
We went to Ohio because my father was working in the mines there.
All right, hold up because we're going to start again.
Oh.
We're good.
We're ready to go?
Yes, we are.
All right, so good morning, and it is today's December 23rd,
Yeah.
2012 already.
Oh my God.
And I'm John Scarpa, and today we're continuing the video filming of the families of both my mother and father. So that would be the Favretto family on her side and the Scarpa family on my side. And we have today a senior person who has all the information with regard to the Favrettos, and we're going to start today with talking to Giovanna Meneghetti,
Giovanna, yeah, Jean.
and
Well,
who
Giovanna.
we all know as Jean Meneghetti. And so, good morning to you.
Good morning, John. Nice to talk
And
to you.
you really have all of the knowledge
Well, I
of
try
the
to remember
family,
as much
and
as
so
I
I
can.
think, why don't you just start by talking about yourself and your mother and father, and obviously we know you were born in Italy
Yeah.
with your parents, so tell me the names of your mother and father.
My mother was named Benvenuta Beltrame was her maiden name, and my father
Beltrame.
was Giovanni Meneghetti, and they lived in Ponte Alto. And my mother lived after my father was in Texas working in the mines, I guess. You ever think to ask, well,
Why,
how did
yeah.
you get there? I never think to ask after they're gone. So what happened when my grandfather died, his mother wanted him to come home, so he came home. He met my mother, and they got married.
So he was a single man when he was
Yeah,
there.
oh yeah,
Right, and as we would say, state uniti.
yeah.
And now, so you were born in what year?
1921, January the 28th, 1921.
Okay, and in Italy, of course.
Of course, in Ponte
And
Alto, Provincia
Alto.
Treviso,
Yes.
the
now-
province of Treviso.
Yes, and you have how many brothers and sisters?
I had two sisters and one brother, and Giovanna, the baby, she died before I was born.
Right, so
There was
your two sisters are, what's their,
Teresa Lavari, she passed away, and Anthony Fiocchi, she passed away, and my brother Frank Meneghetti,
Frank,
he
yes.
passed away.
Yeah, we all know Frank.
Yeah.
And now, was everyone born in Italy or
Yeah, yes. My
Everybody.
sister Anthony was only 3 years old.
when she came here?
Because, see, we're different in age, because my father, every time he came to Italy, that's the difference in the age from me to my baby sister.
Right,
So, and of course, Anthony was born the same time as your brother Tony.
the same day?
No, but
The
it's,
same year?
he was born in August, Tony.
Yeah, August
and
2nd.
Anthony was born in September.
Ah,
So
okay.
I mean, because see, my father's the youngest of your grandmother and my other aunt.
Right.
So naturally, his children were younger.
Right.
So, mom and your mother were fighting together.
Ah. So now you're talking about my grandmother, which is your aunt,
Yeah,
or Zia, as
Zia,
we would
yeah.
say. And her name was
Angelina
Angelina. And
Meneghetti. She was a Meneghetti. She
Meneghetti.
married Giacomo Favretto.
Favretto, right. And then she had how many sisters? My mother, my
Zia
grandmother.
Maria, that's all.
That's it.
My Aunt Mary Bendrasco and my father and your grandmother. Just 3 children and then again.
Okay, and they came, so my mother, when my mother came here, according to,
Since she was 7 years old.
it said she was 7 years old, but she came in 1906. So we have a question on that, which we have to research.
Oh, really?
Because the records, as I told you, showed that my grandmother came here and they listed her as a servant.
Yeah,
And
that's
her daughter, 7 years old, Fortunata,
Fortunato, yeah.
and her husband, Giacomo,
Yeah, Giacomo.
was already here working.
Oh, I see.
So it said he came first and then he sent for them.
See, your grandmother was older than Zia Maria.
Okay, so
And then
this,
my father was.
so the question now is, my mother and her paperwork says she was born in 1906.
Oh,
Yet she came to this country in 1906, or at least the records show
Yeah.
that a
so that makes her 7 years old.
yeah, so we'd have to check this to see if
Oh.
that's the case.
Yeah, yeah.
Then, so now your brother, Frank, was how old when he came here?
She's about 15. I think.
15 years old, yeah.
Because Teresa and I were only 16 months apart because, like I said, my mother lost the other daughter. And Teresa was only 5 months old. My mother wanted another
She came
junior.
here.
She said,
Right.
but
And then,
my name is really Giovanna.
Frank worked at Joffy Lumber
Oh, for years.
for years.
Yeah,
And
since he was 16. At first, he went to work on the farm, Pendrasco's farm, her and Teresa.
mhm.
Because when we came here, we didn't have nothing. And I went over to your grandmother's. I stayed there. I remember the first day we got there, they were picking radishes. Boy, and me, by the way, I started picking radishes.
This was at the old homestead on Dante Avenue,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I stayed there all summer, boy.
Did you? Yes.
But then I had to go to school, you know.
And who lived at the house then with,
All the boys were home, and Esther.
so that would have been, was my mother was still there, of course.
No, she was married.
She was married by then?
Yeah, because Tony was born and Anthony were born at the same time, so.
Right, so,
Your mother was already married.
all right, so
When
then,
my father went to Italy, right around the same time, because there's only a month difference in their birthday, so.
right, so now, so there would be Rudy,
Rudy,
right?
William,
William,
Serena,
Sereno,
and Lois.
Louis, and Esther, and
Sadie,
Sadie.
Esther, and your mother was already married.
So I know that Rudy, let's see, my mother would be the oldest,
Yeah, sure,
followed by Rudy.
yeah.
Then, who was next, Sereno?
I don't know, Serena was before Grassy.
Before Grassy?
I don't know.
Okay, then there was Grassy and Louis,
No, Louis, I guess, yeah.
and then Sadie, and then,
Sadie was in
Esther.
there, some Esther, the baby.
so they all lived in that house,
Yeah,
and you too.
me too.
Now, had my grandfather had a
Oh,
stroke at that time?
Oh, yeah.
He, by that,
Yeah, oh, he had the stroke when we came to Byron.
right,
And he used to get so mad, because he wanted a glass of wine, you know.
Yeah.
My grandmother didn't took that on. Yeah, she had a rough
Yeah.
some years with it.
so then at that point, who worked on the farm?
All the boys,
All the boys
the
worked on
boys,
the
they
farm.
all worked. They had sweet potatoes that time, and they
Right.
strawberries, pickles. I did all that.
All of that,
And I was young.
Yeah.
Now the kids are bored, right?
yeah, and at the
They had
church-
nothing to do. God bless them. It's not their fault. Oh,
So,
somebody here.
no, the door, we're gonna, so
Oh.
we have,
You can close it.
so what we have then is, Rudy went on to go work in the clothing
Oh,
factory.
yeah, he always worked, yeah.
He was a presser, I
Yeah,
remember.
yes. Poor guy
And,
was limping there. A few years he was limping, you know, he kept on going.
Yeah, he worked hard in there.
And
And then,
then he got, he
yeah,
was so good, and then he got, see how
I remember
Don't
that.
mind, I used to
Yeah.
holler at Catherine, it's
And
a
then
shame.
Catherine's maiden name, she was from Rosenheim.
Olivia,
Olivio
yeah.
from Rosenheim. And then they had 3 boys. They had
And the
Rudy,
twins,
Rudy Jr., who
Yeah.
passed away, and then
Yeah.
the twins, Richard and
Rich
Ron.
and Ronald,
Right, and they lived on Axtell Avenue in
yeah.
Vineland.
Yeah, this,
And then Sereno, who sadly was killed in
Yeah,
an
with the
accident on
tractor.
the farm,
oh,
the tractor
turned over.
turned over. His
46
son
kids.
Jack was
She
there
had 5
towing it.
kids too.
So
That was a tragedy too, that time.
that was a tragedy.
He was
So-
young, you know, he was only in his 40s.
Really?
So, yeah.
And
He looked like a lot like Esther. I mean,
did
he
he?
looked different than Louis and Brassy
Right.
and Rudy.
Rudy
He
was
was good.
very
He reminded me
tall.
of my father, Rudy. He was so good, you know. My
Yeah.
father was that quiet. He never said nothing.
That's fantastic. And then, Sereno then went off and took land or bought land. Somehow he's right next to the Favretto farm.
Oh, he bought the Ferraris. The Ferraris lived there in that big house, yeah.
Oh, so
And they're
he's,
still there. Jackie's still there.
Jackie's still
And
there.
his family, you know.
Right, but he farmed that land.
Yeah, I don't know.
My uncle
Well,
farmed it
Yeah.
then. And his son Jack worked there. And
Yeah.
then we have, now William, who we refer to as Brassy,
Brassy, yeah, Brassy.
who was the most colorful, I think, of
Yeah,
all the
well.
family.
Oh, heck.
That's him.
But he
So
was good.
he got his own farm,
Oh, yeah.
and he
Right
farmed
there on Lincoln
on
Avenue.
Lincoln
I
Avenue.
guess he's
Now
still
his son
there.
Angelo is still there.
Angelo's nuts. I understand he's got cancer to frustrate.
Well, I think he's okay though.
Oh, is he? Oh,
They
good.
treated him
I just heard
successfully.
about
That's
it.
what Tony told me.
Oh, yeah, well, you know, today if you catch it.
Right. And then Brassy, his wife's name was Nuta.
Nuta, yeah.
Right,
I don't know if it was ever Benvenuta like my mother's, or
maybe.
they called her Nuta, so I really don't
Right.
know, you know.
And they have 3 boys or 4 boys? 4 boys or
I'm trying to-
3 boys?
Nicky?
Can we hold up a minute? Sure. Here's Aunt Eleanor.
Oh,
Hey,
Hi, Eleanor, how you
who's
doing?
here? How are you?
How are you
doing?
What have you been doing?
Good. How you doing?
Oh, I know.
Good to see you.
Yeah, same
Look at
here,
that
same
smile.
here. Yeah,
I have to say, it never gets old.
Hey, Angie.
Oh, here, how you doing?
How are you doing, girl?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
How you doing?
All right, hanging in there.
Good, good.
He's going, he's going.
Gonna do.
Okay.
Everybody good?
So, we're, as we continue
just,
here today,
Thing
We
you went
have,
through, and that's it, you had to do it, what are you
Mom,
gonna
we
do?
have my Aunt
Oh,
Eleanor Favoretto here. And Eleanor, you have 4 boys?
4 boys,
And tell
the
me,
oldest.
so tell me all the names.
There's, Louis, the oldest, Tony, Michael, and Paul.
Okay, Michael and Paul. So now, and her home is on Lincoln Avenue also in Brewster.
Brewster, Lincoln Brewster, my mailing
And,
address is Brewster Road.
So the reason I say that is because we're just discussing each of my mother's brothers and sisters and how they left to farm from the farm on
Dante
Dante
Avenue.
Avenue, which I would imagine you lived in that house with my our grandparents.
Just with the grandmother, because Louis' father was dead before I even met Louis.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I never knew
Yeah.
him.
So, oh, you never met him either, huh?
No.
So
I think
you,
in 37 he passed away.
I only knew the mother.
so you got married in what year?
never met her. 1944.
1937, I think it was.
So your husband
I
was
think it was,
farming
yeah, I'm
then
pretty sure.
at Dante Avenue.
Yeah, he started, as kids, they had the farming.
Right,
Yeah.
and so you were there with, his brothers were still farming there also then, weren't they?
Yeah, but they were married.
Right, and so living at the homestead then,
Was Louis,
Louis?
Esther,
Esther,
and me.
me,
Yeah, that's it.
right, and your mother-in-law,
Yeah.
right? And her name was
Angelina.
Angelina. And then, how about Sadie? Does she live there then?
No,
She wasn't there when you.
no,
found her,
no,
was
she lived in Hamilton.
Oh, was she
No, she lived in
Married to
town,
Joey.
I don't know.
she lived in town, yeah.
Oh, did she? I don't know. I don't see her
Yeah.
that much.
So now, tell me your maiden name.
Sherman,
Sherman.
Schureman,
Okay, so now, you met our uncle.
by
in
mistake.
I don't think so.
I was out with my mother and father, took me out for my birthday. So we went to the movies. It was on a Saturday night. So my father and mother were acquainted with the guy down the street, Sharp's Cafe Bar. So I said, "Oh, I'm going to go have a drink." I said, and I know I was old enough to drink. So I said, "No, I want a soda." So we had a drink. And my husband, my father always played shuffleboard tournaments. So we were sitting there at the table talking with the friends, and who comes over but Louis. So he's talking to my dad because they play shuffleboard against one another. So then he walked away and he come back, "You want to dance?" I said no. Then he come back again and my father said, "Go ahead, I'll dance." Okay, so I went up there, I was dancing with him and he said to me, "Someday I'm going to marry you." I said, "In your dreams." Everything was going to happen.
Yeah.
But what I did to him, he took me away one time with a movie with him. Then after that, he called me up and got me out. So I told my sisters, "I'm going to stay upstairs and you go down and tell him I'm not home." Because I always went roller skating with my girlfriends where the old Times Journal used to be on 7th Street.
Yes.
So we used to go roller skating. I said, "So you tell him I'm not home." They would go down and do it. After he left, I go meet my girlfriends, we go skating.
Don't tell me he caught you there.
Then he kept on calling, I kept telling my sisters, "No, tell him I'm not home." She says, "Oh, you can't do that." "Well, yes, I can." I said, "I don't want to go out, I want to go skating." So then this one night, my cousin was a thing down at Atlantic City racetrack, the skating rink. He says, "Oh, you want to go with us and a bunch of the guys?" I said, "Yeah, come on, let's go with the girls." Yeah. So I said, "You told Louis I went away." So? I came home that night, my sister said, "You know, next time he comes, we're not saying nothing. You're going to go downstairs." I said, "I'll go out before."
And you did.
I did. So then after, he called me up one night, he said, "What's the problem?" I said, "I don't have no problem." He said, "I've been over there so many nights, how come?" I said, "I'm busy, I got my girlfriends." So he came over one night, came in early, and my sisters, I said, "Tell him I'm not home." My sisters hollered up, saying, "Hey, Al, Louie's here."
Oh, that cured that.
I got so mad with my sister, I didn't talk to him for 3 or 4 days. And then after we started going out, but not really regular. I told him I can't make it and this and that. I
Yeah.
always made up some excuse.
And then you were married.
Then I married and then I got trapped into the Fabrero family.
And
Good luck.
the rest
Yeah,
of
it was. Had to be good luck.
Well, it had to be very hard, especially
Oh,
Yes.
living in
please.
that household.
Oh,
then
please.
with- yeah,
Especially with Esther.
Oh.
You won't want to live with Esther.
she was a tough one, huh?
Never met anybody like that in my life.
Well, we know she can be difficult.
Ooh, difficult. You don't know the habit of it.
And then, at what point did you build your home there on Lincoln and,
1972, right? Yeah, about 1972 we
Yeah.
built the house.
but your husband had been farming that land
Yeah.
before that time?
Yeah, oh yeah, he kept that on the Lincoln
Right.
Avenue, yeah, because they bought that ground years ago and they farmed it all the time. But then we built the house thereafter.
And you still have that land, right?
Mm-hmm,
You still have that,
yeah. Yeah, we still have that land.
Oh, I thought it was you.
We rented out to one of the farmers, but before Louis died, they come and talk to Louis.
But
So.
I remember the, the 75th anniversary birthday of your husband at the
Yeah.
recreation club
Yeah,
downstairs.
yeah,
Here, sit here.
And they gave him this big tractor tire, I think it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Happy birthday on it.
Albert Bergamo did that.
Is that right? Yeah, so that's, I remember that party.
Yeah. Then after that, he got sick and downhill he went.
How old was he when he
Oh,
died?
hey, how you
He
doing?
was 82.
82?
Mhm.
He was a young man, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, I always knew him, first of all, he was a big man,
Yeah.
Who?
Louis,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And then when he, so he was 82, I didn't realize that, I thought he was
Yeah.
older. So now, nobody's farming that anymore,
Just this, the farmer, Eddie Bergamo's farming it
The
right?
land,
with the
yeah.
ground. Yeah, he rents it, yeah.
Right.
He talked to Louis before Louis got sick. He said, yeah, okay, you know, because he couldn't do it anymore.
So we're talking today about my mother, Edith Favaretto Scarpa, and her family, and Jean Meneghetti is discussing with us the history of the family in Italy,
Yeah.
Oh,
which both Rose and I, in fact, our family visited there, it's 12 years ago.
Yeah, can you imagine? I
That
never saw those
We were
pictures.
there,
Yeah.
and Jean arranged for all of us to visit the homestead
Yeah. Oh,
there
boy.
in Ponte Alto,
Fonte Alto, yeah.
which was probably, that building was probably a few hundred years old, maybe?
Well, it's all one
It's all one
stuck
stone,
together. Oh,
the house and then the
they're all
barn
stuck together, you know.
Yeah,
is all stone stacked together.
oh,
Not
really?
brickwork like we know
Yeah, right,
today,
yeah.
stonework, and then behind it was the farm.
Yeah, we had a lot of land, but Mom left it to her brothers.
Right,
Because one of my uncle moved in our house and he took care of it. Because they were Masons, my uncles, her brothers, my
Right.
mother's brothers. So then when we all had a sign, all the kids had a
Sure.
sign.
the door, please.
What does it do? Open up? Is it a door?
It must be that, I guess.
Unless you
That's
don't
Mom
want.
calling.
Esther always said to her
You're gonna
mother,
freeze us?
You want a cup of coffee?
she
No,
told,
no.
she told her
I
mother,
already have my.
almost every day,
Yeah, please.
when you were coming over from Italy on the boat, why didn't you throw Edith overboard?
Why you what?
Why didn't she throw Edith overboard?
Oh,
I
Yeah.
heard that so many times from
Yeah,
Esther.
she done coffee, yeah. Yeah.
It was,
You know, this is interesting because we just started to do this research, by the way, so, we retained a company in Italy that has an office here in the United States. And it really is a bunch, it's not a bunch, it's a number of professors who study the historical families
oh,
throughout Italy.
yeah, yeah.
They have a business on the side where they go to each village or town or province,
Yeah,
and
problems.
they do all the research from the church to the little town itself, and then maybe the province,
Yeah,
which would be today like a county, Cumberland
yeah,
County. we
that's,
would say.
yeah.
So to check all these records, and so far, the reason I'm telling you this,
Take
so
it
far,
off.
Okay.
Yeah, you
it's,
could do that. I think it's got
Rose?
the strand on it.
Rose,
Yeah.
Yes,
we're in a conversation here. So far, what we discovered was when my grandmother came here in 1906, her husband, Giacomo, was already here. She was listed on the boat in 1906 as a servant, and the record said she's coming here to meet her husband. But they listed a 7-year-old girl named Fortunata. And Fortunata. Now, my mother and her records show that she was born in 1906, but this record from the ship shows that
She was already.
she was 7 years old, or this girl was 7 years old that came here. So this is one of the things that this record is going to determine if my mother was in fact 7 years older than she claimed
First off.
to be. So that's one of the things we have to find out according to the records. We found out that, and Jean knows this, we found that her father was born in Fonte Alto,
Yeah.
which is a suburb of it's pronounced, it's spelled Asolo.
Oh,
Some of the
Oslo, you mean?
Ocelos, the Italians that I speak to say Jesolo. It's Osolo, but
Oslo.
it would be, that's where she was born. And then it said that, and that would be like
Yeah, that-
Vineland and East Vineland.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
They're right next
But
to
it's
each other.
actually Pagnano, you know. It's at the
Pagnano.
foot of Oslo.
Right,
Remember
and
we
so-
looked for the
yes.
house that time?
Yeah, so now this is in the province of
It's all up to the Treviso.
Treviso.
Yeah,
Yeah, that whole region, which is in the north.
yeah.
Not all the way up north, but it's in the north.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
probably
Not too far.
on the mainland from Venice, maybe 3 hours of
Oh,
drive.
no, it's
Not
only
even-
about 35 miles from Venice.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought it was longer
no,
than that.
no. See, we're all pretty.
Yeah, so then,
I look at the map all the time, you know,
So
I always
yes.
loved geography in school, but now you could forget. But did you ever hear Minnie and Esther said that Edith's name, they used to tease it, Fortunata?
No,
No?
always said Edith.
Oh, yeah,
They
maybe.
always said that.
But they used to kid around, hey, Fortunata, you know.
No, I never heard that. I always thought it
Lucky,
was
he
Edith.
was lucky.
Yeah. Joanne.
okay, let's hold up 1 second.
All right, fine.
Hey, Joanne, come on in.
They were
And Frank,
closer to the Adriatic.
alright.
Bologna's
Yeah.
more this way. Pisa, Bologna, you know, Tuscany. Tuscany.
we used to have a map on the wall here.
Oh, I have a big one.
Yeah.
Back when we come there.
Aren't you having your dinner today?
Huh?
Your dinner?
Huh?
Your dinner?
Oh, it's 1:30, 2 o'clock.
Oh,
No, what? The girl's taking
How you
care of it,
doing?
and Allison's.
Good.
Joanne.
You gotta do that, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Thanks
Just
for all
one
you
extra
do over
little
there.
bit.
A lot of my
Got to let
friends
us
go
straight.
there.
I heard,
She's
yeah,
making
It's a great thing.
lasagna?
pork loin.
Oh,
yeah, it
oh.
really
Yeah,
is.
so much of that. Oh, it's all I
And I
hear.
know
You know
there's
the,
only 6 of us.
Joanne, the greatest
Nothing
part of
fancy.
that is we can do there 95% of what they can do at the University of
With the
Pennsylvania
trap, yeah,
or all the major cancer centers, so you don't have to travel.
yeah.
Right,
What's
that's
that?
the plus.
The cancer
A lot
center,
of people don't wanna do
Cancer
the
Center
travel,
Vineland.
that's the point,
Oh,
they don't
oh,
have
the
to
It's
hospital.
a
travel.
hassle.
Oh, yeah.
It is, so you're right here.
Yeah,
right,
right.
Oh, the one that's dedicated to your mother and father?
yes,
Yeah,
yeah, it's a nice center.
I'm with you a
So
couple
are we
times.
ready?
Got
Yeah, we
the
are.
problems
All
checking
right.
my-
Okay, so we were just discussing that we're doing the historical research of the Favretto family and the Scarpa family, which is going to include everybody here. And it probably will be completed sometime by summer, because they have to visit each church to see the church records, each town hall to search those records. And the interesting thing that they told me was that a part of their fee includes having to give a gratuity to the church and to the town hall.
Oh, good.
Because in Italy, your public records, you must provide access to public records. However, they don't tell you how long you can stay there to do research.
Uh-huh.
And especially a lot of these churches say, well, you can come in and do research for one person for 1 hour and you have to leave.
Ah, that's
So
something.
these people say, okay, does this help us get a longer time here?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And so we hope to wrap it up by then, but we have discovered a lot of things so far, just beginning this research on both the Scarpa side and the Favretto Meneghetti side. And what I'm trying to do now is we're trying to get all of us who are here to put on video these memories, and then hopefully we can put this all together as a story, and then all of us would have these records and finally know the unanswered questions that take place. So we have now Joanne Favretto, so this is
Serena's daughter.
Sereno's daughter, and we have Louis Favretto, who is Louis and Eleanor's son, and we have William Favoretto, who is Uncle Brassy and Aunt Nuta's oldest son, here today. And I think that I think it would be nice so that each of us can talk a little bit about your respective parents, your siblings, and what you remember of your grandparents. Willie, you must, I don't know, would you have any memory of your grandfather and grandmother, Favoretto?
No,
No, they were dead then, huh?
they were, yeah,
Yeah. And,
pretty close.
right,
I was
so,
born in '39.
and you were born at your homestead there on Lincoln Avenue.
At Datia, Lincoln at Datia.
Dante, yeah. Oh, you were born there?
Yeah,
Okay, when did your father buy the land there on Lincoln Avenue?
1948 roughly.
Right, I'll tell you what, let's hold on
Okay.
one more. Hey, Angelo and Tony.
You're back on track.
We're back on track. This is,
I guess it
Um,
was here when I came, I don't know. The milk and sugar was in the tea.
so we're here talking about the Favoretto family and
Working out.
each of the brothers and sisters. And we were
You're
talking to
I don't want this.
William
I don't
Favoretto
drink coffee.
with regard
I
to
drink a little bit, but
when
I can't.
his father, my Uncle
It don't
Brassy,
have any sugar in it, so.
my Uncle Brassy bought what became now the homestead on Lincoln Avenue, and somewhere in the late 40s.
No, the homestead was
No,
on
Tony.
Lincoln and Datia.
Yeah, the home, but that's where,
No, Tony, for
Grandpa
sure,
and
I
Grandma
wanted it.
Yeah, and all the children,
that's
their,
right.
their children.
Right, by the way, this is Angelo Favoretto, and he's a son of Uncle Brassy and Aunt Nuta also, but I'm talking about the house you live in now,
Yeah, go ahead.
which was, your dad and mom bought that somewhere in the 1940s, maybe?
Yeah, yeah,
And he farmed that land, which you still farm
yeah.
today. So, then we were discussing that Aunt Eleanor lived at the homestead with her husband Lou and Esther and Grandmom until she passed away.
No,
And
she didn't
then-
live with me till she passed away. She was living with Esther. Because
Okay, over
Esther,
on,
we
Elmer
bought
Road.
the house from her, and she lived on Elmer, first she lived on, I forget what street, but anyway, she ended up on Elmer Road.
Yeah,
And then her mother went to live with her. She took her mother
Right.
with her.
now I have that
just
recollection
have
of
to
Then
going
every,
to that
every
house.
day I'd get a phone call from my mother-in-law,
Good.
she wanted Louis. So over there, and she was complaining that Esther wasn't doing nothing for her, leaving her alone. You know
So-
Esther.
Yep. So then we were talking about when your father left the homestead and he bought,
Lincoln and Palermo.
which Gene says was owned by the Ferrari family
Yes.
Yes.
before
Just
that.
ask Jean.
Yes, yeah, that was good, you remember
Just
that.
ask Jean.
Yeah.
Yeah, she knows
My,
everything.
my dad bought it from the Ferrari
Some things
family.
not-
I
Right.
don't know the names.
But that's
of the-
okay.
What's that?
Carol, she's got all kind of.
So tell me this,
Oh, it's.
tell me though, your siblings, your brothers and sisters, Jack
Jack,
was
Sereno
oldest.
Jr., we called him Boinky.
Boinky,
Jacqueline,
right?
myself, Joanne, and then Carol.
No.
5 of us.
Now, Jacqueline was older than Boinky or younger?
No, in the order it's Jack, Jacqueline, me, Boinky, Carol.
Okay. That's
Jack's the oldest.
right. And then to that end there, in regard to your family, everyone, you were born either at the hospital here in Vineland or
Yes,
I
all
don't know
of
if
us.
anybody was born at home there,
No,
right?
no, all from the, yeah.
Now, tell me again your mother's maiden name?
Cecilia Tarapelli.
Therapelli. And were they from East Vineland?
No, she came No, she came from Alabama.
Alabama.
Oh, she
A lot
did.
of people from Bonner came down. from
Yeah, she
Alabama.
went through. Yeah, my grandparents, her mom and dad, were from Italy, but he stayed in Italy. My grandmom, Tarapelli, was on Myrtle and Cherry. She remembers coming into with the harbor where they all came in,
Yeah.
and then went to Alabama.
Okay.
My mom was born in Alabama.
Alice Island. Alice Island.
Yeah, Ellis Island. Yeah.
So, all right, then how did she get to, back to Vineland to meet
Well, that's
your
what my
father?
grandmom. Well, a lot of them came from Alabama, came to Vineland for some reason. I think because of the clothing factories,
Yeah.
and ended up working in there. And then my grandmom Tarapelli bought Myrtle and Cherry, and that's where that's what their homestead was.
Okay.
That's Carol. Why she's late.
All right, so let's hold on.
Wait, one more. Oh yeah, she's got a lot of info. Yeah. Just talking about ours.
Get out of the service.
Nice to see you.
Okay. Good.
Years was down there.
Good.
Oh, she's no Carol's here.
Oh, she's got
You
everything.
want to
Haven't
see?
seen you for a while.
Want to
This
see?
is good timing, Carol. You come in, we're talking about your family.
Oh really? Yeah. How did Nani get to Vineland from Alabama? Because they went to Alabama. They just because of the clothing factories and to move.
Yeah, she wanted to get her boys out of Alabama, out of the coal mines,
That's
because
what.
that's where our grandfather died of black lung.
Mm-hmm. There
And
you
the
go.
other people that they had gone to Alabama with had already moved up to Vineland.
Slap them from
Yeah.
So she came to Vineland with her kids.
And then
See, I
that's-
did some of her background.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Me and
then-
Jacqueline went to Alabama to the town and everything.
You have.
We did all that. We started that.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I
So
see. That's
then,
why Carol's got a lot of
Ah.
info. Yeah.
Carol doesn't have a lot. of
No,
info.
I told them Grandpa Nani's husband stayed in Italy. I didn't realize he had came to Alabama, and that's where he died.
He came
So-
before she did.
Yeah, is that how
He
it
was
was?
there
Okay.
for 2 years, and then she followed, and then they had all the
All
kids in Alabama.
There's pretty much a lot of history in that regard where a lot of the men would come over here, I guess, seeking work.
Right.
Then they would send for their wives
Mhm.
and children to come over after that.
Yeah, he was
And
recruited.
Jean is the same thing. So we were just discussing, Carol, your family, the homestead, which your brother Jack now lives in.
Oh, where is Jack?
And
I don't know.
is he farming now?
No.
No.
No?
I called him.
No.
I went to his house yesterday. He knows all
I
about
don't
it.
know about when
And,
you
Did he
stopped
say he was
farming.
coming?
Do you remember?
Tell me what it is you know with regard to the research you've done about your parents, or your mom and dad.
Oh, I don't have a whole lot about the Favretto side of the family. That's all I brought. My son had started this when he was in the Navy still. I guess when he was stationed in Norfolk, he was bored. I don't know. So his paperwork goes back to like 10 years ago. I'm almost positive I mailed this packet to Angie.
Okay, then she would
Her
have.
daughter Charlene
Uh-huh.
was doing something for college, maybe a class.
No, history of the family.
But I'm saying it was
Recently?
something.
Yeah.
No, it had to be. Tom's been gone 3 years, so it had to be maybe 2 years ago.
Oh, well, then it could have been college.
So
for-
I sent this to her of what Richie had given me,
Okay.
my son had given me.
Right.
Uh,
So what we're.
But it doesn't go too far back into Italy. This we have from Gino's wife. This is saying, well, do you want to read it? We had a little family reunion and she put that on, she had had a cookbook made.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the one page on the cookbook about our grandfather and grandmother.
Okay, this says that Giacomo was born in Pagano, province of Treviso, Italy.
What was the name of the town?
This says Pagnano.
Pignano.
Pignano would be the
Pignano,
Italian.
yeah. That's the one
that's
that's
what
the
you said,
town
right.
below Oslo. Remember when we
Yeah,
stopped?
yeah, we saw there.
You don't want to climb?
Giacomo had a brother Louis and a sister Ida.
Yeah, he had a sister. See, didn't I tell you? He had
He
a sister?
did tell me.
Yeah, I remember my aunt always said that Esther
I
looked
guess
like
I'm a little
her.
more helpful
her
than I
aunt.
thought I was.
Yeah. Then it says after the birth of their
Looking at me?
first child,
Oh,
their first child, Edith, the couple immigrated to America and settled in East Vineland. They had 6 more children. Now, what we learned is that Giacomo was already here. And in 1906, he brought his wife and their oldest child then, whose name, according to the record we have, is Fortunata,
Fortunata means lucky.
which
Never
is,
heard that name.
I
which
didn't-
Jean says is my mother. This was in 1906, however, our records show, her record shows that she was born in 1906 in Italy. So this research will tell us what has happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they named, as we have here, the 6 children: Rudy, Brassy, Sereno, Sadie, Louie, and Esther. And brother Louis came to America, married Rose Fragona.
Rose
Oh,
Fragona, yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's how the.
That would be Dolly's mother.
Remember?
Huh?
She was a talker.
I'm glad I brought my folder with me.
Nice squeaky voice.
That's what it is, it's good to bring up a memory, and
Yes,
then,
and you
then they can
remember.
fill in.
And then they had 4 children: Louis, John, Mary, and Dolly.
Right, and I
Their
think,
sister Ida remained in Italy.
I think John's the only one that's still alive, right?
Oh, yeah, she
John and
never-
Jen.
Yeah.
The sister never came in.
Which town?
I don't
Then,
even remember that
I
name.
mean, Giacomo's sister.
Angelina, which is our grandmother,
Yeah.
Right,
her brother John and sister Maria were all born in Fonte Alto, province of Treviso,
that's
which is
Minnetonka.
where we,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
we all
Minnetonka.
visited in the year 2000.
They were all born there, your grandmother, my aunt, and my father.
Right. Then
That's-
Maria met and married Angelo Vendrasco in Italy.
Yeah, oh. Now, they were both, that's what they did, housework over there,
You don't
both
know
of them.
this.
That's all the work there was there.
Right. They had 7 children.
Wow, those were
And
babies.
Those were the
Ike?
long winners.
Oh, that's
Ike?
pretty good. Yeah.
Fred,
Yeah.
Albino,
Yeah.
Freddie Vendrasco, yeah.
Vera,
Vera.
Minnie,
Yeah, oh my God, yeah.
And Rome,
Romelda,
Yeah, Romy.
Yeah.
and Lena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just the opposite.
Did you already have this information, John?
No.
Oh, good.
Oh.
That's good, yeah.
No, it's great. The couple came to America and settled in East Violin. John met and married Benvenuta
My mother,
your mother, yeah. Beltrami.
yeah. You
And
got all that, that's good.
and they had 4 children, and here's where you come into the picture.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Your turn.
Hey, Angela.
Frank, Teresa, Jean, and
Antoinette.
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 In 1931, the family immigrated to America. They lived a short time, 14 months in Ohio, which you told us. And while John worked in the coal mines until they closed. And they moved and settled in Violin area with sisters and their families. And then many of those families and their children became farmers, and some still continue today, which is very, very interesting.
That's good.
So, as we start to piece this stuff together, you know, and a lot of this we hope triggers memories of. Who do you remember, Tony, of these?
All of them.
All of them. Yeah,
Yeah,
all
you
of
do
them.
too,
Yeah.
Rob.
I remember some of them.
Yeah.
I'm probably the youngest
Eleanor,
cousin here.
you too?
No, well, I'm younger than you.
Oh, get out of here, Rosie.
Right.
I just turned 64 on Friday.
And then,
Very well.
Oh, very well.
then
Eat it.
let's
Very
see,
well.
Frank,
Well,
Frank,
it wasn't too bad. He's the only one I really liked.
Frank worked for Jaffe Lumber,
Please.
and so did
Dragon, wood dragon lady.
Dominic.
Dominic
Somebody come in?
Monera. Right,
Oh,
so that's
I
good.
forgot, we gotta get back to that, all that too.
So now we're,
That's good.
as we move along this line, we are going to get with Uncle Rudy's and Aunt Catherine's remaining 2 sons, the twins, Ronald and Richard. And we're also going to get with at least Jeff Picone, because his brother's in North Carolina, I think it is. Or
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so, yeah.
Andrea's in Las Vegas.
Yeah, Andrew's in
Las
Vegas.
Vegas.
And Vegas is
Right.
not here.
Jeff is around. Who's been seeing him a lot?
He's not an
Marlene.
Marlene sees Joe,
Yeah.
he goes
I think
into
Dennis
Five
is
Points.
Charlottesville.
I saw him a few
Driving
weeks
the
ago.
racetrack.
Oh, good.
He's ready
He
to.
living?
He is?
He's
Oh.
happy.
Yeah, he married, Rick Nicole's ex-wife. Jimmy Simone's ex-wife.
Yeah,
Who's
Andrea.
this?
Dennis married Andrea
oh.
Simone.
Oh, yeah.
Well, how about the boy,
And he moved
Ronald and,
Yeah, he just
But-
mentioned them.
yeah, I know, but how do you get in touch with them?
I know, I talked to Ronnie.
Yeah, Ronnie's is right in
Are they
Violent.
in Violent?
Yeah, yeah.
Ronnie
Oh,
still
yeah.
lives in Vineland.
Richard's-
Richard only lives
Elm
like
Street.
in
Richard's
Cherry
in
Hill
that
somewhere. right?
Deptford.
Deptford,
Yeah.
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 Deptford, right.
You see,
We keep in touch with some of them.
Good,
Yeah.
good,
See him here and there.
good.
So now, under our Uncle William and Aunt Nuta's family, two of their boys are here today. William is the oldest, and Angelo, are you second?
Yeah,
And then Nick is
next to baby of the family, yeah.
next to baby. He still lives in Millville?
Novel, yeah.
Right.
Is he coming today?
And
No,
Angelo
but I
is
should
still
talk to his
the,
wife.
I called him.
Angelo is still the only one farming in the family, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. And
Yeah,
Willie, you're still in the crab business?
I'm in the crab business.
Yeah.
he's the waterman of the family.
Yeah, the waterman of it. And and then Louis, what are you doing now?
Nothing.
He's
retired.
Tired.
Who do you are?
How lucky is that?
There's that word you don't want, Joanne doesn't want to use
The
that
R
word.
word.
I
She
worked in
gets
the
the
yard.
chills over it.
Mom's house, I organized, you know.
He's always over my house doing everything.
You know,
Every
keep everything,
day.
you know, keep everything
good boy.
tidy.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Keep him straight.
So let's
He
talk a
is,
little
don't
bit,
worry.
let's talk a little bit about your memories. We'll start with the oldest, which would be our mother, Edith. So obviously, you knew her only when you were in this country.
oh yeah, she was married already
She
to
was,
your dad.
right,
We used to come over and visit her, and us three girls, we used to sing Italian song, and your grandfather, Parla Madonna. I can remember this, and he always wanted us to sing, you know, we were little, how much, but there was a war song that it was a sad song that it was, and he always wanted to hear it, your grandfather.
so was it an Italian song for the
Yeah,
Italian army?
oh yeah, in Italian, but I forgot it.
That's,
It said, siamo giunti sul monte magari. It was a sad thing, you know.
sure.
And all of a sudden he got called up and he had to leave his family. I mean, it was a nice song, but it was in Italian. Anthony was only, well, she was 4 by then, and I was 10, and Teresa was 11 and a half.
So now, what about our grandmother? Because she lived here in this house. We're in this, what is the Scarpa family
Grandmother
homestead?
Scarpa, you mean, yeah.
Yeah.
She was a nice lady.
And we went through the,
Everybody's looking, Mrs. Scarpa.
we went through the families last time. And then next would be Uncle Rudy.
Yeah.
So both of you and we all remember Uncle Rudy and Aunt
Oh, yeah,
Catherine.
oh, yeah.
Excuse me, he was the quietest
What
Barbaretto of all the
did I
men.
tell you? I said he was like my father. So good, he never said nothing. Rudy,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, my
He
God.
never heard anybody.
loved to
He never
sing.
talk about it.
Yeah, he liked
He
to
loved
sing.
to sing. He used to sing out in the fields.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, we used to put strawberries, we used to bring gladiolas, used to raise. He would sing out
Yes,
there.
he was.
He was glad big time. He
Oh, I
was.
don't remember. Yeah?
Then he raised the strawberries.
Yes.
Yeah.
He
that was
just
right.
started singing.
Right on
How about
Lincoln
that?
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right in
See,
the
now
middle
we're
of the two
remembering
brothers.
things
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I
I time I go by, I look.
Do you
I
remember the
think
strawberry patch?
Now
between
I
Uncle
do,
Rudy and
yeah.
Aunt
Yeah,
Catherine?
strawberry patch. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cover up the hay. I'll cover the hay. Put the hay on top.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
How many acres
Oh.
of land did Grandpop and Grandmom Barbaretto own? They owned
Oh.
Lincoln and Dante.
The homestead was 5 acres.
Okay.
Then the other piece, Uncle Rudy had 7.
In between, in the middle.
And your father had the rest, right?
Yeah,
Right.
now was that the original farm,
Yeah.
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 Grandmom?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then they had more than 5 acres.
Oh yeah. I'm saying well, you broke it up. I'm just
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
you had up the acreage going from Dainty Avenue to Palermo Avenue.
The whole
Yeah,
thing,
Yeah, but
the
my
whole
mother
thing,
and father
yeah.
bought that.
They
no.
went as
No,
far as
my
mother and
Nando's
father
that's
bought their house
down to
from
the
Ferrari.
Ferrari's house.
Okay.
They bought
Yeah,
the house.
yeah, all right, that's right too.
My mother and
Ferraris.
father bought their house
That's right,
from
she says
Ferrari.
Ferraris,
I'm
yeah.
gonna
It
go
It
with
was
that.
not Fabretto farm?
It was bought from Ferrari.
It'd be 12
Ferrari
acres. If
first.
Uncle
She's
Rudy
fine.
had
You didn't get
five.
the, yeah,
Had
we,
five,
yeah,
it's
you
12
didn't
acres.
put a
Right.
name.
Ferrari used to be.
Yeah.
The original farm went from Dante Avenue to the line where the veteran area is now. The dog
The
doctor.
vet. The vet.
Yeah,
That
okay.
area.
So that's
Yeah,
what
that
it
area.
is.
That was
Yeah.
on 12
Well,
acres.
12 acres then,
Okay.
yeah.
And it went from Lincoln Avenue to the
How
back
many
of
acres
where
did
the
you get?
car wash is.
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
about 8,
yeah.
there's
8, and Jack's
And
house
then,
is on
then
2.
I was
Probably
next.
about
Right.
10 or
Yeah,
11
yeah,
acres.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
say 12 at least.
Pepinani, all
12
Pepinani.
acres are
But it
there.
went back,
But
too.
I knew him
That's
well.
true.
They farmed all.
Who's left in that bunch? Anybody?
Well, Clara's still living there.
Now,
Well, that's the wife though.
Yeah,
She married.
and the kids are still
Mario.
around.
Mario, he died.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
but the kids are still here. Joey and
Well,
Jeannie.
now you're going different than,
Right,
different.
okay,
Yeah, they're gonna put another
Oh, well,
name.
yeah,
another
okay,
name.
right, yeah, I see. Well, what you call, Manny, there's a Minatola. That would be,
Yeah, it's
Carlo.
Carlo
These
named it.
copies
That
that you
was
can
his
leave?
wife.
Did you
What?
make copies?
no, I didn't make copies. I didn't
Oh,
have
it's
time
what
to
you
make
said
copies.
yesterday, I know.
You're the
Worked
same
on
way.
it
Could've did it
today for 6
yesterday.
hours.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as the Nanais, they're all going.
I was dealing with my
No,
brother
it's
Jack.
Clara's still living.
So Clara,
So,
yeah, she's
uh,
the
Oh,
house.
yeah, I think
Okay.
you're
Homestead.
being
She's at the house.
recorded, so
So
I
now-
want that
Pepinani's
recorded.
I don't
house.
say that
Okay,
was
let's
a
get
real
back to business.
situation.
Okay.
So now we come up to, Sereno is older than your father? Who's the older of the two brothers?
Let's see.
Your father or?
Uncle Chick.
Uncle Chick would be older.
That's
So
right.
he would be number
Sereno.
3.
Oh,
And then-
Our father was the oldest?
No, no, no,
No,
no.
and Edith was.
Oh, right.
Yeah, yeah.
and
Then
then
Rudy,
Yeah.
then your father,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Makes sense.
and then Brassy.
then Brass.
And we were wondering, yeah.
So now,
I didn't know the order.
Nickname of Dandelion.
Your father, your respective father farmed that land that we've been talking about. And your brother worked on that farm also.
We
In
all
fact,
did.
Everybody did. And your mother
Oh, yeah.
especially.
Well, she had to take over because when I was 5 is when Dad died.
We don't remember, me and Carol were
Jackie
the
could
young.
only have been about 18 or 19 when Dad died. So Mom had to do it.
She had to do it.
She had her hands full.
We didn't, not, I don't know what it is, but I don't really,
She draws a
remem-
blank.
if I remember him, if you're gonna ask me questions about him, I don't really remember him physically even,
'Cause you were.
when I was 10, I should,
Oh,
I just
She'd
don't know.
draw. She's
And Carol was 5, we were involved in the accident. I don't know if Dad did
That
something,
probably.
we were,
She
we
drew
were
a
there,
blank on the whole thing.
We
She
were
doesn't
there when
even
it
remember
happened.
The accident. We were with
but I
her.
don't know.
He looked like Esther. Your
So
father.
now,
Oh, I
one
remember
thing that,
Dad.
one
He
thing,
looked like-
I was
he
one
only
thing
looked
that
5.
I know about our uncle is he used to like to go to the racetrack.
Yeah.
And all that, to the, what else, the
Because my,
recreation club, I think, too.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, all-
Or Dolly and Mike's.
When you'll appreciate this,
That's used to be called.
when- when my father-in-law, Jim Geraci, was called there, because he knew your father
Yes.
very well, because he also liked
Oh,
ponies and gambling.
Yeah.
He said to me that, he says, you know, when I went to take your uncle back, you know, he said he had a stack of tickets from the racetrack that day. With a rubber band wrapped around.
did he?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes he would go to the block and Louie and Brassy would be waiting for him to come back to see how the stuff sold. Never came back.
Oh,
He went to the racetrack.
well, I hear he used to do that with Mom, too. He never came back.
Yeah.
See, I don't remember that.
See, I don't remember all that because I was only 5.
Yeah, you don't,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
I
That
can
part.
remember
All that.
some of it.
I can.
He used to take
Picture
off
him
and
right
Brassy was there waiting and
Well, that
hollering.
was his thing.
I would remember him on a Friday night kissing me goodnight. He was going up to the bar.
See, you do.
I don't
I
remember.
I
all
can't.
the all that other stuff.
Yeah, you remember him then.
10 years
I do.
old, you don't remember?
No.
Well, like she
Well, it was
said,
a-
she
it was
was
a
She
tragedy.
come back.
She
We were on
kind
the
of blocked
tractor.
it.
Me and Carol were on the
She
tractor.
blocked it.
No, I don't
Yeah.
think so.
I remember that like it was yesterday.
Yes.
You
So
do,
do I.
Tony? Yeah, we
I
do.
was working out back in the egg shop, and I don't know who called me or said about Uncle Rudy. And I went over there, he was still out in the field. And now I had to go tell my mother who was in Wildwood.
Yep.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
She would have been a while
She
because
had
it was in
to-
August
So
or September.
Rose Massarella, who was
Maybe.
good friends with
Tell your
Mom,
mother that you and
I called Rose first and told her, look, you're gonna have to look at Mom's place for a couple of days because this is what happened. So when I went to Wildwood to Mom, I said, Uncle,
Serena.
Serena
Uncle
Chick.
Sereno, Uncle Sereno was in a bad accident. He's in the hospital and it don't look good.
Oh, you
Yeah, well, you
lied.
can't
So
tell.
that was the only way I could
Get
drive
her
home with
back.
her.
Right.
And then we came to his house, he said. And then that's when she
Yeah.
found out what Uncle Rudy was there by then.
I know my, when
No,
my
I'm
husband
sure.
was in the back of the house, and I got a phone call, something happened to Chick, tell Louis. I went out there, I told him, he went with the tractor through
Right
that
through the
field,
field.
I don't know how he ever made it.
The path between
So
the
then
houses.
after, when he came
Right.
home, I said, what happened?
yeah.
And he told me, I said, you've gotta be kidding, he said,
Yeah.
no. So I said, oh, is he really dead? He said, yeah, he said, I took off my shirt and I put it over my brother because everything happened. So when he was at the house of the Sears, and he went in the house and he didn't have a shirt on, Sadie jumped all over him. Just, where is your shirt?
Yeah.
He said, I took it off and
You
put it
did,
over
Sadie.
my brother.
Right.
Then he came home. He
And
was so
then-
mad.
And then another thing I remember there, he had the shirt on, and Uncle Brassy took his handkerchief out of his pocket and covered his face. I remember that.
See, we don't know any of this.
Well, we were home already.
Well, I mean, we didn't
ran
hear,
down
we
the
never
street to
heard
tell
any
Mom
of
to-
this. No, but we
Without
never
it.
heard none of this.
We got out of the field. We got away from
And
the
another
Yeah.
sad
Nobody
part
ever
of the
talked
thing,
about it after. That's another thing that's in my
we went to
mind.
their funeral and
Even
came
as-
back, and I was with Lloyd and Jimmy Nacy. And I said, here we are, we all went there together. We had to leave him there, and we came back along. And you guys were all
Yeah,
real
we-
small
yeah.
kids. Yeah,
But we
Well-
never really discussed it even after as a family, did we? It was like I mean, like with
That's my
Jack
exercise.
or with my mom. We
Yeah.
never discussed it.
you grew up in it.
Yeah, just yeah.
You know,
Well, and that was one of those tricycle type
it's,
tractors,
Yeah.
so had it been
oh,
Four
yeah,
wheels.
It wasn't
No, it was a brand new Ford
Oh
tractor.
no, yeah, it
Was
was
it,
four
yeah.
wheels.
I just came across the title again the other day. It was only like 3 months old.
Loaded with
There was no,
tomatoes.
he
The
Brand
back
new
they
Ford.
towed,
Brand
they
new.
hooked the
And
chain to the
what
top
happened
of the
was-
seat with no
was
behind
loaded.
and it just
They
flipped.
flipped up, they
If
put
there
the
was a
chain
chain.
in the wrong place
Yeah.
to pull the truck out of the mud.
Yeah.
And it went up
I
and came
remember.
down.
It went up.
Yeah.
It
So
went
then
up
your
and-
mother, our Aunt Cecilia, took over the farm
Yes.
at that point, and she farmed it with,
All of
All of
us.
us.
Yes, yes,
yeah, and that's still a beautiful piece of property. that,
yes.
Yeah.
Jack keeps it in very good
Yeah, she
condition.
kept it all together.
Yeah.
She had a nervous breakdown, but she just
I remember our mom used to take us over there to visit very
yeah.
frequently,
Oh yeah.
very frequently.
The same here. My mom. I always
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
coming in with my mom. And
See,
going to
now
see
that
your
I
mom.
don't remember.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I do not remember little
Oh, so,
hanging out with you guys.
huh.
I really don't.
Maybe it's a
So-
good thing.
Maybe I was out in the field playing, or maybe you were older than me, so you didn't play with me. You know what I mean? 'Cause,
Then you had a sister in a bad accident too, right? Or
No, that
your
was-
aunt?
That was Jack's daughter.
Jack's daughter,
Okay.
Brenda.
Yeah, that's a yeah.
A niece.
Our niece. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you remember Gene, Chick, Uncle Chick and
The what?
Uncle Chick? Do you remember him?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Tell me some thoughts you have.
Yeah, that's
He looks just like Esther. You only two, they look every single
Just like Aunt Esther.
Everybody else was
I
different.
wish I could remember.
Louis, Brassy, Louis, more like our side.
You know how he got the name Brassy, Mom told us? He was a young kid in school, and the bus driver, because of his arm,
Oh,
Oh yeah.
the bus driver started calling him Brassy, but his right name is William.
Yeah, that we know.
And that's what
What does
Butler
this
happened in
have to
school.
do with the word brassy though?
So that leads us to our,
Our
your
Brassy.
father and our Uncle Brassy, which we could run through all of this tape talking about it, but the one thing I would visit him each Christmas, and he was philosophical, he was a philosopher. He would tell you some very pointed things that my older daughter Sherry would love just to visit and listen to him talk, because he had a great outlook on life. He also knew how to enjoy himself. He was an avid hunter, I guess a fisherman. Never rested.
Used to make wine, sausage.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Well, Angelo still tries to make wine. It doesn't work out all the time though, right,
Well,
Angelo?
I drink it. No matter what it tastes like. Gotta keep on the tradition.
Yeah.
So tell me some thoughts, Willie, about your dad and your mom.
Well, they raised us to be decent people. You know, always went to church. They always in church. You know, Father Poppy was in charge of the festival every year and made us go down there and work too.
That's which festival? That's the
Pompeii Church Festival.
right. Yep.
Better known as Padre Pio these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I think they had a great life.
we think so too. He and your mom. Well, you all grew up on that farm,
Yes,
so you had no choice but to farm that.
no
land.
choice.
Yeah. And your mom was a very special
yeah.
person. I'll tell you.
Yes, she was.
She liked her bingo now.
Oh my God, she was a bingo lady.
And then she like to
7 days a
But
week,
that's right,
bingo.
Anita was bingo.
Honest to God, yeah.
Yeah.
Anita was bingo.
I didn't know that. How about you, Jean? What do you?
What's that?
Aunt Nuta.
Bingo.
She loved bingo.
Oh,
Yeah, she
Yeah,
was,
she
I was a bowler.
she loved her bingo.
Yeah.
60 years ago.
No kidding, that's remarkable. Then, so who lived on the corner there? Was it Zia? That would be
The Vendraska.
Zia Maria.
Vendrescos.
Yeah.
What is
Zia
it, Elmer
Maria,
Road
yeah.
in Spring?
Elmer and
Yeah.
Spring.
Elmer and Spring.
Yeah.
Zia Maria.
Zia Maria.
Zianuta, where did she come in? Zianuta.
Oh, my
Spring.
mother
Remember,
was
that was your
Spring.
mom,
Yeah,
okay.
it's called
And
Nuta.
when Zia Maria
We
used to
called
come
her
here with her
Zianuta,
husband.
yeah.
Zia Nuta,
Yeah.
yeah.
They
we
had
call
a
her Zia.
big car of some kind, and he had somebody driving them, and they'd sit in the back. Yeah.
Who's that, Mr. Vendrosco?
Yeah, Vendraska. What was his first
Romy
name?
was a chauffeur then.
Well, he had a man.
She came and picked us up when we came from Ohio in the great big
Remember that car?
Buick.
Yeah.
During
What
the
was it?
Depression, my uncle had to have a big Buick. Mr. Vendrosco.
What was his name? What was his first name?
Oh my God.
Gee, wait a minute.
Angela.
Angela?
Angela.
Oh, yeah.
She was a small little lady,
Named after them.
and he was a bigger guy.
No coming too fast, I don't got too much company.
Stumble on the other side.
Whereas she works like a jackass.
Oh, yeah. They all
Yeah,
did.
she could speak good English. They say all these years, my mother too. But don't, the help used to get, don't come too fast, I don't have too much company. She went and said she don't have much help to get the stuff
yeah,
ready,
yeah.
you know. Because they farm too, he owned all that farm, where,
Elmer
all
Road.
on Elmer Road there, all his kids got, these, you know.
I just wanted to comment on my mom with Aunt Nuta, were
Mhm.
like this.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Yeah.
loved it. Oh, yeah, always, yes.
Sure.
My mother, yeah.
Yes.
They used to work the stand together.
Oh, my
Yeah,
goodness. Yeah, that's,
She went,
see?
Mom did the leaks
Yes,
with Uncle
she
Brassy in the
loved-
winter and
yeah.
everything.
I
down
mean, and
there
when
with
she
them on
wasn't
the
there,
farm.
we were
She wasn't
visiting
working on
her,
farm, she
you
was
know,
working
up
down
to
your
Aunt
leaks. I
Nuta's, and
remember
we'd
anything
go,
to do
and
all
they were
winter.
just,
And the winter, you guys did leaks
and
this
they
year.
worked,
some
I mean, they
winter.
had the work
So she could
ethic.
feed us down there with your
The
dad.
same type of work
Seeing
ethics, I
that
mean,
tape
they all
was
did,
on
anybody on the farm were hard workers, I mean, that's what you did.
You already started this?
I have.
Look at my
Wow,
hands.
far, where are you?